you are here. I wasn't sharing my screen. So here's where we are, the agenda this week. Okay, again, we're trying to solve this problem, right? The traditional ad model is so hard and only getting harder, and there's a bunch of reasons for it. We talked about a lot of those reasons, but combining SaaS with DR is so much easier. The name of our private client program is called SWAS Agency, and SWAS stands for SWAS stands for software with a service. Okay, software with a service versus software. Why does Zoom hate me? What in the heck? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Here, I think if I move my screen over, this flow will work better. Okay, cool. So versus software as a service, which is what, it's like 5K plus versus 300. So they're about the same amount of work. Selling is much easier when you're doing high ticket because there's a done for you service. If done for you element versus a DIY element when you're just, trying to sell software or something. It's the same amount of work to get the desired result for the client. One just pays you a lot better and has all the benefits of the other one. Okay, so that's why we're doing this workshop. Hopefully you've had some sort of breakthrough at this point that that helps you understand that. Okay, so this is like my third business where we're matching software with a service, and you guys have seen me do this for years. It's not going anywhere. It's just the rest of the market doesn't think about it this way, mostly because they haven't tried selling software before and they don't understand the math or the pitfalls of it, right? Likewise, on the other side of the coin, if you're just doing done for you services with no software in the back end, it's a lot easier for the client just to cut bait and go, oh, I can find that commoditized service anywhere else. Okay, so combining these things together is extremely powerful. Okay, cool. So let's get rocking. I've got the chat window up. Let me just make sure nobody is stuck in the waiting room. Okay, I think we're fine. Yeah, we'll get going. Okay. So there's two ways to think about this word. Fulfillment is one way to think about it. I like thinking of it as retention. Do we have to fulfill on a promise made to a client? Yes, we always do. But the second that the client is, it begins to receive services from you, no matter if it's SaaS service or SWAS, like a blend of the two, you have to immediately start thinking about retaining them and keeping them happy over a longer period of time than just a month or two. Okay, you will not make money in your agency or your software business or any business really in the model that we have if you're only keeping clients for 1 to 2 months. It's just literally impossible. The 1 to 2 months require the most work on your part. There's a cost of sales, there's a cost of your time, there's a cost of your team's time if you have a team. Most agencies don't profit until like the 3rd month, like truly profit, right? If you have 1 or 2 clients and you're just doing a side hustle, maybe that's fine, that feels fine to you. But if you're running a real business, you cannot operate a business that way. It's just impossible. Okay, so what is an insight we can take? Sorry, I just want to make sure everybody can get in. Okay, so what's an insight that we can take? Like, why is this such a big problem for small businesses, right? So like, what does the software do for the client? So let's talk about that. So we understand now what we are supposed to benefit from by having this. It's longevity, retention, higher ticket prices, right? More profit for longer. But most local businesses have extremely inefficient lead gen processes, okay? They're extremely unorganized. They're not tracking their KPIs on marketing or sales typically. I mean, typically they just know how much came in and how much went out that day. It's about it for the average small business. So when an ad manager comes in and just starts running ads, this person is feeding a leaky bucket. So have you guys ever had a client and you're like, I'm killing it on the ads front, but they're just like not seeing the result and they're blaming you? Like, have you ever heard the leads? Anybody? My God, I've heard it so many times. Yeah. And it's like, what are you talking about, man? And they're not following up with the leads, right? They're not following up with the leads. They have issues with their sales process. They don't know who's coming in when. You know, it's largely just like a series of fires being put out. And that is the problem. That is the problem, right? They usually are trying to use their internal CRM, their computer software for all the admin stuff behind the desk, like their customer management software, to run all of the marketing and sales activities, which is a terrible idea. It's awful. It's awful, right? And so we don't like, that's the reason why it's so funny, because like when we first started offering software, a lot of the clients, like what they would say is, well, I already have something that does that, right? So like in fitness, there's like a handful of really big juggernaut sized CRMs. And so like there's one called Club Ready, and Club Ready has like a text messaging add-on. Well, the thing's a piece of junk. It doesn't work, not for our purposes at least, right? So yeah, Jerry says our client didn't even call their scheduled appointments. We need to tell them to start calling them. Yeah, it's totally ridiculous, right? So this is my point, is that we have to solve this problem for them, okay? If we're gonna really fix this leaky bucket issue, we just need to solve it for them, okay? And the easiest way to do that is to put all of the leads into our software and keep them there, keep those conversations going. Once a person becomes a customer, they can go to whatever, you know, internal customer CRM they have. That doesn't matter to us. We don't want to be mixing those two things, okay? So it's funny, it's like when GoHighLevel first started, everyone's like, oh, do you integrate with this CRM and that CRM? I'm like, guys, I've been doing this for years without our own software. I've been doing it for years with things like Scipio and some other tools, right? But not a single time was that an issue when we were doing that with our small businesses, because we would just say, look, we're going to generate you a result. We're going to use this tool to do it. Whatever other tools you have, just keep using them. But for this purpose only, for filling your calendar up with sales appointments and sales conversations, we're going to do it this way because it's the best way to do it. It's clean, it's separate, we know it works, and you guys can just relax. You don't have to do anything, right? You don't have to learn a new tool. You don't have to figure out how these things integrate. You don't want tech headaches. Like, just skip all that. You hired us to get get you the appointments, right? Yeah, just let us do it with this thing, okay? So essentially, what you want to do with this, guys, is you want to fix this problem right here, right? The client has weak tracking and attribution. So what does that mean? They don't know what stage or what the timing of where these leads are, okay? Which is the exact thing that our software solves. Because what we're doing to these leads is we're getting them in fast, we're getting them in organized, and we're responding right away, right? The software responds right away, which is like 90% of it, right? So if somebody writes in and raises their hand and says, I'm a lead in any form or fashion, like, we are there, right? Either manually or through some automation that you can, you know, pop in GoHighLevel. But either way, that lead does not get left behind, right? That lead does not get left behind, and it gets followed up with way faster than the client can do it. That's huge, right? So I'm getting ready to show you guys in a second, like, why this is so important, but this is the reason why they cancel with the agency, because they have no idea where these leads are, thus they don't close them, right? Or not as many as they would. And then they just have no idea what to attribute to our efforts as advertisers, right? So again, the software solves that problem in a huge way, like in a massive way, because now we're saying, look, you got X amount of leads, we followed up with this many became appointments, and you know, it looks like most of them confirmed and showed, okay? And just doing that is 99% better than almost every single small business on the planet, you know, like literally. You can assume that they're not doing anything near that and be right every single time. Like, I've never had a client be like, yeah, we're already doing that, and then they show me and it's actually true. Never, not once, okay? So you just assume that they don't know how to do this and that it is a leaky bucket. All right. A lot of small businesses will shine you on and say, no, we're doing fine there. And then you look, you're like, really? So what are your numbers? Like, tell me at each stage and where is all this information and who's following up with it and how fast are you following up with them? And guys, it's just a total mess. So just assume it's a mess for every single prospect you come across. Okay, make sense? The only way that you can assume otherwise is if, like, maybe they've already worked with a marketer that that knows what we know, but that's a tiny percentage of the market out there, right? So it's very rare. Assume the mess. Yep. So let me show you an example of what I mean. Okay, so I'm just going to go and do a quick Google search for something like HVAC repair near me. All right, so whoa. So let me just click on somebody random here, right? So this looks like a small sort of family-owned business. They have 10 Google reviews. That's cool, but let's just have a quick gander at their website, okay? So thing one, free estimate form. I would reckon to guess, okay? And again, I'm just assuming that it's a mess. So if I popped all my information in here, how long do you guys think that it would take for them to get back to me? Anybody have a guess? How long do you think it would take? Because let me set this up real fast for you guys. Let's say that my AC broke, it's 100 degrees outside, my kids are losing their damn mind, and I have all these options in Google, right? I have all these options. And I click on their website, right? And I'm like, sheesh, I don't really know, but all I care about is, I need some help. So I pop all this in. Yeah, I pop all this in, let's say. Yeah, Yamil says sometimes never. That's the experience I've had too. Like never. They never follow up. It's like, I was willing to give you 11,000. This is a true story, by the way. I was willing to give the first person that showed up and was reputable, whatever I was desperate to get this fixed this past summer, right? And we dropped $11,000 on a new unit, and they came out the next day and did it, right? So we were in and out in like 2 days. I had to call like 7 places though to get them to pick up the damn phone. And I filled out all these forms and stuff, and like nobody was getting back to me fast, right? So yeah, I would say it's going to take days for them to get back, right? Guys, is that fast enough? If I have this problem and I'm going down the list and this person does not get back to me, what do you think my next move is? I'm going to go to the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. You guys want to hear something fun? This is a stat that you have to understand. 80%, I'll just squeeze this in right here. 80% of consumers buy from the first contact they reach. 80%, right? So right. So Howard, I'm asking you though, as a consumer, right? As a consumer, I know it says that, right? And trust me, I've called too. I called a bunch of them, and like it was like they didn't pick up, or it was like an answering service, and they're like, "Well, we'll just get back to you as soon as we can." It's just like this is a bad customer experience. Like if I'm the customer and I call this number and I fill this form out and they don't get back to me by tomorrow, it's too late. Done. I'm not waiting, right? So I'm just giving you a quick example of why this is so important, right? So we can assume, and I'm just like, I don't know this about this particular company, but we can assume that this is a leaky bucket scenario, okay? So that's thing one. Thing two is that there's a study out there that 85% of consumers want to do business via text message, like have sales conversations with places they do business with via text message, and only 15% of businesses are doing it. Do you guys see a way for us to text here? Unless we just try that number? I don't. I'm just giving you an example. This is the average small business website, right? Like look at how many forms they have. It's like, is this form going to go to a different place than another? Really, I'd love to see the back end and see where all this goes to, you know. And if I reach out on Facebook, how long does it take them to get back to, you know? Let's just real fast see if, oh, I have to go to Messenger. That's lame. Heck, let's try it. We'll see if they get back. I'll keep it up on my phone. Yeah, and again, sometimes they never respond even to Facebook, okay? So you guys, you seem to understand this already. I'm not gonna spend a ton. Yeah, it goes to Susie's inbox, which gets checked 1 to 2 times a day, right? So guys, this solves a huge problem, right? If all of those conversations, which are leads, most of them are leads, goes into one place where the conversations, like no lead gets left behind and the conversations get followed up with quickly, that's most of it. That's most of it, right? Because if I get on the phone and they can solve my problem and everything sounds good, 80% of the time I'm buying, right? Make sense? Super, super important to understand this, okay? So what am I talking about? Can you guys see the whiteboard? So I'm talking about all these sources. Let's say it's Facebook Messenger, right? Forms on their website. Well, they're not doing SMS, but they should be, right? So SMS messaging. Guys, did you see a web chat on there? I didn't see one. Let's go look. Let's just assume they don't have one. I didn't see one, right? Web chat, this is a giant, this one's giant, right? Because we can use the web chat to build our SMS list and get them into a chat, right? There's also Google My Business, right? So if you're on your mobile phone, there's a Google My Business chat feature that Google's rolling out. And this is, and HighLevel has an integration for this. So you can connect the HighLevel location with the business's Google My Business profile. And when somebody enters a chat, guess where it goes? It goes right in the conversation stream. Just like all this other stuff. So all this stuff goes into one place, which is, you guessed it, right? Our SaaS. Okay? So we're not even talking about DR or ads right now. We're just talking about all the other ways that they're missing out, right? They're missing the boat. So these are all leaky bucket items, right? In addition to DR, I'm sorry, and ads, right? So guys, none of this stuff on the top was available when I was doing this with my agency. So you guys have a huge advantage, huge advantage. I was only, you know, doing DR and ads, lead nurturing, that was it, right? So this is a huge advantage. This is where this is what I call getting the hooks in, right? So how many more hooks can we get in so that we can plug this giant ass leaky bucket, right? So, you know, it's got all these holes. Each one of these is maybe a hole. And so when you're doing ads, it's like, okay, we're pouring traffic into here and it's just like going right back out. Well, we want to plug one of these one at a time. After the client gets results with the DR, ideally, before we run ads, we want to plug all these other leaky bucket things and then do this one last. Why do you guys think that is? Why do you think that is? Bueller? Sue's, oh, wait. Sue's all end up, oh, so they all end up in one spot and no dropped balls. Yep, Jason's got it. Yamil says you get free leads even before DR. Yeah, you catch everyone. Why fill a leaky bucket, correct? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, really, does it? Plug all the holes before ads. Yeah, you guys think like, you know, adding more traffic is not gonna solve the leaky bucket problem, because what happens when you turn ads on? What do you guys think a percentage of the leads do? You tell me. They leak. They go Google the business, or they look at their Facebook page, or they look at their reviews or something, right? So they might see the Facebook ad, look around, and then come in through one of these other channels. Make sense? Yep, Ryan's got it. More leak through. Okay, is this making sense to everybody so far? Okay, good. Super powerful, guys. So can you see the big picture now? Like we're getting the SaaS, no doubt. We're putting everybody on the SaaS, but the service is the SaaS and the SaaS is the service. This is like a holistic solution, right? We're not separating the two at all. We're saying, no, we're going to help you plug this leaky bucket using our proven tool and our proven methods, and we're going to provide you a service that turns all those missed leads not only into captured leads, but also into new business for you, right? So that's thing one. This is the other thing that I think is best for the business, but as an advertiser, like there's a lot of people who are like, no, I'm the best at ads. I can, we as marketers, we have a bit of a chip on our shoulder. We're like, I'm the best at what I do, like all this garbage. But guys, a lot of times ads aren't really even necessary for the business. Like I wasn't dying to turn on Chris from Title Boxing's ads when I knew that his calendar was packed. Why would we do that? Right? Why would we pay for more leads? That just adds more complexity, more costs, and it doesn't, get him to where he wants to go, right? So decreasing the client's dependence on ads makes you look like a rock star, because the less dependent they are on ads and the more that they can capture, like the bigger net that they can cast, bigger net cast to catch more existing fish, right? Does that make sense? This is so dead simple, but like if you can get the client understanding this, you are in a huge position to retain them for a very long time, right? Where did I write that? Here we go. Make sense? So, whoops, did I do that right? No, I didn't. Here we go. So if they're nurturing all the leads that they already generated or that they just naturally get from search or Google My Business or their social profiles or whatever, the math starts to work in their favor because 15% of the people are ready to buy now. They'll just like walk in. They're like walk-in sales, right? But they just might not be capturing them in a way that's fast, efficient, or at all. Like, if for some reason somebody's like, I'm looking at the place, I'm about to call them, hey, my kid just hit my phone, I got totally distracted, and some people just never come back after that. Something like that happens. Or I get a call while I'm in the middle of on my phone, I get a call and it's like my wife, hey, can you pick up the kids? I know it wasn't your day or whatever, but so I drop everything, go pick up my kids, and I forgot about this place, right? But if you're capturing the lead and you have follow-up mechanisms in place based on what they want, so I would love it if this company would offer text messaging. You know why? Because I need the reminder, because I'm a busy dad and an entrepreneur, and I'd rather be sitting here jamming with you guys than remembering what browser, like going into my browser history and that's a lot of work, or it sounds like a lot of work, right? I'd rather have the business remind me, and like I would love to give the first place my business. Time is valuable. Time is valuable, right? As consumers, we expect the business to come to us nowadays. Isn't that true? Don't we expect that? Like once you reach out, you're like, I kind of expect to have a good experience and I might not come back if I don't. That's like normal now, right? Right? Yeah, so Jason says you're essentially funneling all leaks into one place with the GHL Conversations tab. Yeah, you're right, Jason. And putting them into a pipeline. God forbid they get put into a pipeline like a real sales team does. Oh my God. Like, God forbid we actually become professional and like get our money right and our sales right and our pipeline set up. My God, like as a small business. Yep, any leads coming through GHL will end up in the conversation. That's right. Jerry says my dentist and physical therapists are the only ones who use text reminders. Isn't that shocking? Think about all the businesses out there that need it, right? So, Sean from High Level calls this free leads, right? Like let's capture what's already being generated naturally by the business already and get all those conversations going into one place, which is our dashboard, right? Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so now we're about halfway through, so I'm gonna I'm going to show you guys something real fast. Okay, so what are the ways that we can build these hooks in, right? Let's go back to our whiteboard. Am I sharing the whiteboard? Okay, yeah. So how do we get all these hooks in, and like what are they, right? Well, there's 5 big ones, and then there's the pipeline, which is not a hook. It's just like where we want all these things to be funneled into, right? So, oops. All right, let me just make sure there's no one in the waiting room again. Cool. Is this helping, guys and gals? Is this good stuff? Okay, cool. So here they are. Ready? Number 1, text enable their landline. Okay, so let's go back to this guy. I'm gonna try and send him a text real fast and see what happens. I'm just gonna do this on my phone, and I'll just tell you guys, or I'll show you here on the camera, 256-533-2678. You know, I'd bet the house that they will not have this text enabled. Whoops. What'd I do? Here we go. Message. Hi there. Is this McCormick? All right, we'll see if they respond. That text probably went into the stratosphere and is never coming back. Okay, so wouldn't it be nice if this number was text enabled and they just said, call or text us here, right? Call or text us, or text to make an appointment, something like that, right? There was in San Diego, there was a friend of mine used to always go to this, it was like a med spa, I think, like a mini med spa. Like, so like they didn't do surgeries, they just did like Botox and like all the like pretty non-invasive stuff. And they didn't even have a phone number available. You had to text message them to get booked in. They didn't even answer the phone. It was just a message saying, hang up and text us. And everybody loved it. I was like, dang, I gotta talk to that person sometime. Because it's just like the way that their customer preferred to communicate anyways. And so the phone was just like not a good channel for them. So they exclusively went to text message, which is insane. It's like everywhere on the website was just like, there was not even a form, I don't think, right? So again, if 85% of the market wants this and you're not doing it, who do you care more about, your customer or your ego, Mr. Business Owner, right? Look, they got a fax number. When was the last time anybody here sent a fax? Good Lord. I mean, Christ on a crutch, sorry. That's bad. But it really pisses me off, right? Like it pisses me off that they're just, this is the biggest leaky bucket. Look, McCormick Heating and Cooling at MSN. Somebody please go help this business. Please. Right? They're like missing so much money. Sorry for the foul language, y'all, but I'm passionate about this, okay? So can you text enable a landline? Yes, you can do that in GoHighLevel, okay? You can do that. So that's thing 1. And, you know, if you're in our SWAS agency program, we got a full video on this, but that's easy to look up. You can just go into GoHighLevel and go to the help docs and look up the video, okay? So yeah, medical still uses fax every day. I mean, I understand for internal stuff, but why would, like, as a lead gen channel, why would this be relevant at all? And why don't you have a branded email? That's insane. So, you know, this just doesn't make any sense to me, okay? So let's keep going. I could just sit there and, you know, critique that all day, but I'm gonna skip to number 3 real fast because this one's relevant. Do you guys know what tap to text is? Do you guys know what tap to text is? Okay, tap to text is where, let's say on this page, right? It can work for a button or a link, doesn't matter, okay? But with a tiny snippet of code, you can make this number tap to text, or this button tap to text. And what you do is after you drop the code in, when you click on the link or the button, it will initiate a browser window in the person's mobile phone in the text message app. Okay, so they're on their browser, right? And they tap this button, and instead of the browser, now the text message app comes up on the phone. Okay, let me see. So this is my, let me see if I can find an example. This is my buddy's hat company. It's like a clothing brand. And let me see if, here we go. By the way, he's a gangster. He has chat. He understands. All right, so look at this, right? This is exactly what I'm talking about. So this button right here, when we hit submit, is going to open up the browser window. Ready? So 619. And if it might detect that it's desktop and not do it, but oh, dang it. Does anyone want to pop their number in here? Shoot. Anyway, it's probably not worth demonstrating. Do you want to do it, Sean? Okay, all right. I'm going to do it with Don just because it's the first one I saw. Okay. Okay, cool. So Don, check your text. Don, you want to hold your phone up to your camera and show us what happened just now? And I don't know where Don is in the screen. Where's Don? There he is. Okay, so he's holding his phone up. So yeah, okay, cool. So if Don was doing this on his mobile phone, he would have went from browser and the text would have popped right up, okay? So why is this important? Again, it's a lead. Like it makes it effortless. Instead of me having to type this number in and try to text it, which by the way, I haven't gotten a response back, so I'm sure that they don't have their landline text enabled. But you can text enable a landline, and when it says text or call us here, if the person clicks it, it'll bring up the messenger window and prompt them right away with a pre-populated message. All they have to do is click send. Okay, do you guys see? No, Brian, I think he's using Shopify, and that's a plugin for Shopify, but I told him to do all that stuff because he was missing leads. Yeah. Does that make sense? So can GHL capture tap to text leads? Yes, because it's just a text message. So it'll open up a new contact, and the contact will have its normal conversation thread. Right? Is this helpful, guys? How many of you knew that before today? I'm just curious. Yeah, new to Alvin. What does the okay, good question. Jason Speckert says, what does the pre-populated message say? You can write whatever you want. That's just like in the code, snippet code. But usually it's like, well, Don can like kind of write it in here. Yeah, Lisa, you're gonna love that one. Josh, hadn't heard about it. Yep, new to me, new to me, new to me. I've done this with a QR code too for in-person networking. Yep, you can do that too. Okay, cool. So is this helpful, guys? So those two are really closely related, right? You want to text enable the landline because that's usually what the number they've had for 100 years, right? And then you want to do put tap to text coding on all the places on their website where they've got that landline number. Okay, and if they're using like a separate Twilio number or whatever, you can do tap to text for that too. It works with anything that receives text messages, any number that receives text messages, right? Yeah, this is a gold nugget. Yeah, bro. Okay, web forms, pretty self-explanatory, but you saw how many forms this person has on their site. It's like kind of all over the place. It just, this is bad. Free estimates, call us today. Okay, well, make that a little easier for me, please. That'd be rad. Can I just click anything? And so the one thing that they're doing that is good is they've got an ADA compliance thing on their site. So I got to give them kudos for that. Most places don't, but this is just a bit of a mess, right? So all these forms that they have on all these different pages, instead of going off into the abyss or, whatever, we replace these forms with our forms, and that way no lead gets left behind. That one's pretty straightforward. Make sense? And then chat widget, okay? So, there's no chat widget on this page, right? And a lot of people might just have a quick question and they feel more comfortable doing it that way. So let's go to Corey's site, just because I know he won't mind messing with them. All right, you have no recent orders, find an order. Ooh. Oh, order number. See, I don't know that. Let's just send you a message. Still, that's pretty good though, right? Hi there. Checking on order delivery. Right? So here's the name capture. Okay, now I'm a lead. Right? So, ooh, in a few hours, ooh, that's kind of bad. So having this is hugely beneficial. So in the high level chat widget, what they do is they try to encourage the person to text in, right? So it asks for their number instead of their email, and then an automated text message goes out to get them the conversation going in two-way text message, okay? So I think it's great to have text message because once you get people on it, they love it, right? If you go to another site that's wedding book system. So this is Joe Rare's brand. So he's one of our private clients, and I'll tell you guys all about his business here. But this is, I know he's using GoHighLevel here, right? Look, click a button below to choose how we can help you. Use the text us button for immediate communication. See this? Boom. Robb Bailey, 619-787. So he is choosing to get email as well. Just checking Joe's site out as an example. No contact. Let's see what happens. Cool. So see that? Awesome. So on my phone, so Verizon sent me a text about the HVAC place and told me that it's a landline number. That's funny. Okay, so now I'm in Joe's conversation stream and his software. Does that make sense, guys? So going back, we want to put the chat widget on their site. And again, any of these conversations that happen in this chat widget will go straight into our bucket, our non-leaky bucket. Make sense? Number 5, Facebook Messenger and Google My Business Messenger. Again, you know, if you've ever like private messaged a small business or messaged them on Google My Business chat, like it's a ghost town. It's an absolute ghost town. Like I'd be surprised if anybody responded back at all, but it's usually way too late. Same problem, way too late, right? All right, Jason's saying, how much would you charge to plug their leaky bucket? Great question, great question. So let's stop the share real fast. Great question. So I wouldn't charge them anything more than what they're paying me. Again, because we're doing software with a service, right? It's all together. So when they pay me, you know, $5,800 for the quarter, they get all this too. The reason why I'm okay with that is because number 1, I'm selling high tickets, so there's plenty of margin in there to do all the things. But 2, it's a retention thing. So I know that I'm going to make, you know, after the first 3 months, for example, and there's different ways to do this. We'll talk about that here in a sec, but I want to re-up them for another $5,800 for the next 3 months after that too, right? So if you can do this 4 times in a row, right? For the year, how much is that? What's 6 times 4? It's about 20, it's less than 24 grand. It's like 23 grand and change, something like that, right? Per year, per client. Make sense? But they get, in each of these, they get all the stuff, right? We're not splitting it off and customizing it. We're just charging a higher price because it comes with all the stuff. So if they want to quit, it's like, that's cool, but all this goodness goes away, right? You're no longer going to have the landline, right? You're no longer going to have your landline SMS enabled. And look at how many leads are coming through there. You're no longer going to have the web chat enabled. Look at all the leads that came through there. You're no longer going to have the GMB chat. Look at all the leads that came through there. Heck, let's look at your pipeline and see how much you made from all this stuff, right? Because you're sitting there telling me that $5,800 isn't worth it, but I made you 100 grand this quarter from all this stuff, right? Does that make sense, guys? And your lead volume just like skyrocketed. Like you weren't even tracking this stuff before. So, you know, you had a leaky bucket, dude. If for some reason you guys want to downsell from here, you could, or go month to month. Like we did 1,500 a month after the first 3 months, and that worked well for a while. But then we got a little more aggressive and said, well, you just need to pay up front for the next quarter again and do it this way. Okay. So to answer your question, it's all inclusive, right? It's all inclusive. That's why we're charging high ticket here. Make sense to everybody? So let me show you a couple of, whoops, go away. Let me show you a couple of other examples. Okay, so Joe's in the wedding booking niche, the wedding venue niche. So he helps wedding venues book more wedding events, like receptions and stuff like that. So he charges $6,000 up front for 1 month, for the first month, and then he charges $1,500 a month after that. And Joe does multiple 6 figures in this business and almost 7 figures a month. Yeah, he does like a couple $100 grand a month in this business and almost 7 figures a month in his VA staffing business. So he's doing really good now. But when he came to me, when he didn't know any of this stuff, and I helped him transition his agency from like jack of all trades agency to a SWAS agency. And so I'll show you his website. Actually, let me just do that right now because this is good. This kind of drives the point home. So if you look at Joe's website, guys, so this is important to drive that point home. So Joe isn't selling software and he's not selling a service. He's selling a system. You guys see how he's not talking about software here or features or how it compares to other SaaS out there or multiple plans that he has. You guys see how he's not talking about any of that? First of all, it's a system, okay? So the software is the service is the software. He puts so he's talking about the whole, not the drill here, right? More tours scheduled, guarantee. No monthly marketing fees, no advertising costs, just more couples ready to book your venue, right? So he's selling a system, not a marketing fee. He's selling a system, not a software, right? Does that make sense, guys? So, it's like stop losing out on bookings. He's just speaking to this person perfectly. He's talking about the whole at everything here instead of the drill. Never have to worry about booking enough weddings again. Book more weddings, save time, increase profit, right? Like, look at this. Look at all the goodness his system has provided. Make sense? So he's done an extremely good job with this. Alex Machuca, who is in the mortgage niche. You guys heard me talking about him yesterday. So he charges $5,000 a month, right? And guess what the 3 services are? He's doing like $200K a month right now and just hired a bunch of sales guys. So he's going to start, this is going to go up. When I interviewed him like a month ago, he's doing $100K a month, guys. So he's in the mortgage niche. But all he does is DR first to his mortgage guys, and then he does ads and lead nurturing. This is just like we did it with FCA. Okay, so he nurtures the leads that come from the ads, and that's it. That is it. Does that make sense? Alvin says we're charging $4K a month plus $3K ad spend. There you go. Tyler says $1,500 for DR or just the software. Well, Tyler, are you talking about Joe's? Joe's folding the service with the software. re-ask your question, Tyler. I just want to make sure I understand it. So 1,500 is no ad spend. That's correct. Yeah. Yep. Oh, okay. Yeah. So no, Joe sells the whole system for $1,500. So it's the service and the software together. Make sense? And he doesn't do DRs and weddings because like you don't need to, like, how often do you get married? So he doesn't even do DRs. He just does, I think software, lead nurturing, and ads. I think that's it. Because DR doesn't apply to him. So I've tried to think of ways. That's like a weird niche that doesn't, you know. So so does that make sense, guys? Like, you know, and Alex is to the point now to where he's got like a system. I know he has a little bit of a proprietary like spin on like the mortgage industry, but I don't know exactly what it is. But that's where he's headed to. It's like he's got a system, right? An all-in-one SWAS. So just consider that, right? Let's go back to home base real fast just to kind of drill this all home. But oops, wrong one. Where is it? Okay, cool. So this is why you know, just drive this home. Most agencies are totally drowning in fulfillment because they're offering multiple services to multiple niches. You know, guys, I really love using this play by niche because you can do something like Joe did and call it like a wedding booking system, right? You know, Alex can have like a mortgage accelerator system or something like that, right? And once you solve the problem for the niche, it's a lot easier to get testimonials and referrals and all that good stuff and create the flywheel effect. Okay. So, you know, you really want to be saying to yourself, like, if you're offering multiple services, you kind of want to be like, F that. Like, I need to get out of that. Okay. Because once you max out in a niche or geographic area, you should be doing like $1 million a month. You know, there's plenty of customers in any one niche, plenty of clients in any one niche, right? If you have one core service, it drastically reduces how much staff you need. You know, it drastically reduces your overhead. It increases your profitability by like 2 to 3-fold. So what I'm saying is don't get in this fulfillment trap, right? Where it's different every time and you're doing custom work for different clients and different niches, different packages. Like, how many of you guys have multiple packages that you offer to clients? Where's the chat go? Oh, here it is. How many of you guys have multiple clients, multiple packages? We do general niches, Hollywood market, annual weddings. Yeah, exactly, John. That's funny. Yeah, guys. Okay, Erica's good. Payment options are fine, but not packages. Yeah. So guys, just consider this, okay? How did Joe, how did Alex, how did all these other people, you know, get so much leverage, get so much stinking leverage in their business, right? They sell a system. They sell the hole, not the drill. Okay. All right. And once you get all these, you know, like once you got the bucket filled for a niche, this is very easy to rinse and repeat, right? So now you got all these lead sources coming in and they're getting captured. And this is like all coming to you, to your software, right? Now you just did that for one business. Guess what? It looks exactly the same for the next bucket that you go and fix. And the next one, sorry for the drawings. And the next one, right? Pretty soon you're going to have 535 locations just like I did, and hundreds like Joe does, and dozens like Alex does. Okay. So I'd very highly encourage you to, like, once you find one that works for you, like, hyper focus, get it as streamlined as possible, and just, you know, this is like a copy paste. So, because how long does it take to build a snapshot in GoHighLevel if you've done it one time? You can do it in 5 minutes with 2 clicks of a button. That makes sense, everybody? Is the light bulb coming on yet with this stuff? Okay. I would love it if you're all like, yeah. Okay. So let's get into some questions. All right. We'll go back to our trusty guide here. Okay. So just to recap, most local businesses have crazy inefficient lead generation processes. Okay. So this is the leaky bucket. They're missing out on sales and missing out on leads and missing out on speed to lead. All those things are an easy win, right? Easy win. Increasing this will decrease their dependence on ads, right? If you're solely dependent on providing ads to the client, you're going to get fired soon. It's just a matter of time, okay? If you're helping them with all this other stuff and you're not only improving the ROI, but you're helping them solve the leaky bucket issue, and then you can turn on ads, then we're going to play in a totally different ball game, right? And whether they want to, at that point, like, I don't even care if they use us for ads or not. It's like if their nephew wants to take over the ads, that's cool. My price is the same. The value proposition is the same, So guys, really consider hard how much leverage you get by doing this and how much time you save on each subsequent client that you charge high ticket for. Because once you do this once for a niche and you really nail it, after that, it's copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. That's when your profits just go through the roof, right? Your margins are just going to be like ridiculous, like in a good way, right? So your client's going to get, not only get like all that money in their pocket from the DR, but they're going to start catching more fish because they're casting a better net, right? The leaky buckets are plugged, right? And that alone is worth your fee. Those two things alone are worth your fee. If you end up getting into ads, fine. You're just like driving more fresh blood into the system. But at this point, you just created a machine for them that's going to churn out profits. Okay. And that's why you deserve to get paid more, to be honest. Okay. And then lastly, you just want to, like, I really want you to consider saying, like, say F you to your packages, your multiple anything offerings, and offer one complete system, right? So figure out, I'm not saying go hungry doing this, but work on your one complete system. I just laid it all out for you guys, and start selling that. And then, once you get your momentum going with that and your cash flow is up, then just completely stop all the other garbage and fully focus on this, guys, right? This is how you get really wealthy with this model. Okay. You guys remember this whole thing, right? 0 to 2.15 million revenue, 22 months, 50K a month cash collected, 100K a month by month 10. Like, this is when you can actually see yourself doing 400,000 in a month, right? Like Alex was like starting from scratch and he got all the way to 100 grand a month because he started to feel this momentum and he's like, oh my gosh, I found it. Like Rob helped me totally change my offer. And then he just put his head down. I'd hear from for months and months and months. All right. Then he woke up and it was like, I think it was just under a year before he hit 100K a month. And like 2 months ago, he's at 100K a month. Now he's already at like 200K a month. Right. So does that make sense? No, we don't use a sales deck for our SWAS, Ray. We just do a sales call. It sounds like maybe you missed the first day or the second day, but go back and rewatch the trainings because we covered that. Cool. Tom says, wow, light bulbs going off for me today. Awesome. Lisa says, honestly, I have GHL and I use it, but my most difficult issue is talking to enough business owners. Okay. Yeah. So you just need to prospect more, Lisa. And you need to work on your pricing and packaging too, right? To get conversations and them wanting proof before investing money. Yeah. So all you got to do is go do some DRs for free to get that proof. Do like 1 to 3. Then you'll have your proof. Then you're good to go. But you should be able to close them without that. Just remove the risk, Lisa. Look at the sales the sales day again and go through that again. Because that just means they don't trust that you can do what you're saying. Does that make sense? So remove the risk, get started with them. Once you prove that you're awesome, they're not going to have an issue. John says, what are the best ways to get prospects in the hopper to closing a closing call, a funnel? There's lots of ways. You can do outbound, like cold outreach. Or you can do inbound, an inbound funnel. But the best way, we have like a whole training section on that in our private client portal. But there's a ton of different ways you can do it. The ways that I like to do it is I like to do organic stuff until you've got good cash flow in your business. So direct outreach, making posts on your Facebook wall, friending people in your niche, doing cold email, things like that. Because if you just reach out to people on the social profiles, you can get a pretty good response rate from that, and book strategy sessions or sales calls from that. And then once you got good cash flow, I would switch to running ads in your niche to an inbound funnel, which is something we also train on in our Perfect Client program. But I wouldn't do ads right away until you really got your offer dialed and it's working with the organic outreach, because usually it's an offer issue when you do that. And so spending money on Facebook ads when the offer isn't really nailed, like you can see, right? Joe knows his offer. More tour schedule guarantee, right? So, I mean, you could turn ads on right away if you have your offer nailed. That'd be fine. But most people don't, right? You got to work on it a little bit and get it, like, get some clients under your belt and get those case studies going. Cold outreach strategies for this service. Yeah, it's pretty much the script that I followed with yesterday, Yamil. Just when you do the outreach, the introductory conversation has to be different, right? It has to be like, hey, are you looking for new business? Like, is your calendar full for this week and next week? The reason why I ask is because, I have this cool way to fill your calendar without ad spend, like that. Alvin says, how much extra are you adding on top of the 5,800 if they want ads? Well, I showed you my contract yesterday, Alvin. So we just did $1,000, but it's really whatever they want to spend is fine. Because like in local markets, they're going to spend like 500 to $2,000 usually. It's not going to vary much more than that. So it's just up to them, but we just recommend $1,000 a month in ads. Nat says, I'll be offering DR YouTube ads and lead nurturing with an ISA team for those clients that can't afford or don't want the full meal deal. Do you suggest removing one of the services like ISA lead nurturing and doing a downsell, or just let them walk if they don't want the larger package? Well, I would figure out what most of the market wants. DR YouTube ads, lead nurturing with an ISA team. I would tell them that, like, I would sell them that because they need it, right? If they can't afford it, then that's a sales problem. You need to get better, Nat. You need to get better at selling the proposition, because you're offering to put money into their pocket, right? If they truly can't afford, I mean, any business owner can scrape up $6,000, like in credit cards or something. So work on your sales pitch there. That's an objection that you can get over, but they need the full blown thing. I wouldn't try to go down to meet them on that, because it's not going to solve the objection. Like saving money for them that's not going to really help them. Does that make sense? So if they can't afford it, it's like, I mean, they should be closing their doors soon if they can't scrape up $6,000. And if that's the case, then, sorry, but you can also offer funding, right? Like we have a funding source that we use. So like it's a third-party funding source. You basically put your client in touch with them. If they have a decent credit score at all, they can borrow, enough to pay for your services. And then they just pay like low monthly payments to the third party after that. It's like a couple $100 a month. It's like $200 to $400 a month, but you get paid in full, right? So that's another option. But dude, that's not like, If they want to do it, the price isn't the issue, remember? Price is not the issue. Jason says, so a snapshot for all 5 hooks. Yep. I keep thinking my house is caving in, but no, it's just all these bombs. Rob is dropping. Oh my God, that is awesome. Michelle, can you screenshot that? That might be the funniest thing I've ever seen in a comment. Well, thanks, Rob. You and me are the only homies who spell our first name with 2 B's, so I got love for you. What is sales day? I don't know. Sales day. I'm not sure. Just fixing the leaky bucket and systematizing lead capture and nurture is a huge value by itself. Yep, you got it, Larry. My pleasure. Light bulb just went off with Joe's site. Good, Alvin. Yep. So DR first, then fix leaky buckets, then ads. Yep, you got it, Jason. So that's a good one. Here, let's just whoops. Where did my, oh. All right, you guys have the whiteboard again? Save. Clear. Okay, so here's your progression, right? Month 1, this is the SWAS model. Month 1, you're doing DR, typically. Month 2, hooks. And with both of these, you're doing lead nurturing, right? And then month 3, I would focus on ads. And this is like, it doesn't have to be this rigid, right? So if they have a small database or, you know, they really need the hooks and they want to do those faster, you could push that up. And if, you know, their database runs out mid-month 2, you could just, you know, whoop, move this over to here. But this is, it should go in this order. Make sense? And then we just rinse and repeat the next quarter. So we do another DR, and then you already did the work for the hook, so that just stays. And then, you know, you may or may not have ads on, but you just can, you know, if the ads are on and you don't have to change much, then all you're doing new in month 4, for example, is just DR, and everything else is just the same. You know, you just continue on because they're just making money from it. Like they're seeing it in the pipeline every month. So they're not going to quit once they see all the money they're making in your pipeline, you know? Rod says, Rob, did you do sales day yesterday? Yes, sir. Oh, I'm sorry, sales day. Yeah, so when I covered sales yesterday, that's all I meant. So that's good. Some of you missed the beginning of the call, but let's just go back to home base again. So where are we in our little journey together here? Let's see. All right, so we are here. So yesterday was day 2 and day 2 was sales. So if you guys missed that, you're gonna wanna go back and review. That session was fire. Oh my gosh, this is so annoying having everybody come into the room and being in the room. Okay, cool. Do you help people set up or optimize GMB? Rob, we're testing that. We have a few pet agency clients that we're testing it on, but I don't really have that nailed yet. But if you know how to do that, or you can white label it, the service, that's a good one. Jason says, once they have access to the conversations, do you just let them handle the DRs? That has happened before, Jason, but typically they want for us to do it for them. That's how we would prefer it. Antoine says, how many chats can one person manage? Antoine, it's about an hour per week per client is what it comes down to usually. It might take a little more than that, depending on the client, but it's not that much work. Sean says, do you charge them for ads or included? We always make the client pay ad spend. We don't roll it into our package personally. When you give them access to pipeline, track results, and money made for the business? Yamil, I usually do it when we put the hooks in. That's a good question, actually. So when you're doing the hooks, you're going to have to sort of like open up the SaaS, right? So when you go to put the hooks in, you kind of want them to be in the know at that point. Yep, Facebook ads work. It is a good service, but it's not good on its own, is what my opinion on that. It's great with software. Do these agencies use staff to do the fulfilling, especially the ads? Yeah, most of them have teams. Like once you get to about the 50K a month mark, 30 to 50K a month mark, you're gonna really want to start building your team, Ryan. And that's something we train on in our private client program. Reginald says, does Joe's VAs help you? Yep. Michelle on this call is one of, is through his service, I should say. Michelle's one of our team members, but Joe located her, trained her, and all that good stuff. And then we've got 2 other VAs through Joe's service. Jerry says that GHL have the training on how to set up all hooks snapshot and as nurture and close student. Do we get access to link to the videos shown during this training? No, Jerry, but so yes, GoHighLevel has like training videos on that stuff. So just go to their support. But we just made those videos for our SWAS agency program. Just Haplin made them. So they're only available in our SWAS agency program, private client program, but you can easily just go to the GoHighLevel support and look them up. They've got videos over there too. Hooks equals filling leaky buckets. Yep, you got it. Okay, cool. Good questions, guys. At this point, I'm going to cut it short, or not cut it short, but cut the questions off because tomorrow we have a full day of Q&A. Okay, so let's show up. Yeah, good, Jason. Stoked for you. So tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, 11 Central. We'll just do a Q&A session, and that's all we'll do tomorrow. Okay. So definitely digest all this, get caught up. If you guys didn't catch this full session or the previous 2 full sessions, go get caught up. And tomorrow will be our last Q&A session for the workshop. Cool? All right, you're welcome. Have a good day. Yep, you're welcome, Larry. Thank you for spending time with us and jamming. If we want to sign up for GHL, do you have an affiliate link? Yes, Harry. Here it is right here. It's robbailey.com with 3 B's /white-label. There you go. You got it? I'll put it in here. /white-label. Whoops. Bailey.com /white-label. If I can spell. There we go. Yep. If you use that link, I appreciate it. In fact, if you guys sign up through my link, if you don't have GoHighLevel yet and you sign up through my link, just send yeah, you can post in the group, man. Send an email to support@robbailey.com after you sign up, and we'll send you something like a bonus training as a thank you. Cool. Rob says 2 thumbs up, way up. Rob, thanks. See you tomorrow. Sounds good, guys. Did everybody get value from today? Clap it out for jamming. This has been a lot of information. Hope it's brought you clarity. Good stuff. All right, fam. Well, you all stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow at 11 Central. If you have questions, hit support@robbailey.com. If you sign up for GoHighLevel through our link here, shoot an email to support@robbailey.com with a receipt, and we'll send you a bonus. And any questions, hit the Facebook group or hit this email, and we'll see you then. All right, y'all. Have a good one.